I still remember the moment, the red wine splashing across my white dress like blood, the gasps from the crowd, and my sister's perfectly practiced, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry," that didn't reach her eyes. It was her engagement party, 200 guests, champagne towers, a live jazz band, everything designer, everything perfect, everything planned down to the last detail, including humiliating me. "It was an accident," she announced loudly, making sure everyone heard. Her friends laughed behind their hands. Her fiancé looked uncomfortable. My parents pretended not to notice. I stood there, wine dripping down my dress, feeling like I was 16 again, small, forgettable, the sister who never quite measured up. But when I opened my purse to get tissues, something fell out, a small velvet box. It rolled across the marble floor and stopped right at my sister's feet. She picked it up, opened it, and her face went completely white. Inside was a ring, not just any ring, but our grandmother's ring, the one worth $340,000, the one that had been lost for 10 years. The one my sister had been searching for desperately, because Grandma's will said whoever found it would inherit everything else. And I'd had it the whole time. But there was something else in my purse, something that would explain why I'd kept the ring hidden, something that would change my sister's perfect life forever. A DNA test. Stay with me till the end, because this isn't just about a spilled glass of wine. It's about 10 years of lies, a family secret that started before I was born, and the moment I finally stopped protecting people who never protected me. My name is Nina. I'm 30 years old, and for most of my life I've lived in my older sister's shadow. Her name is Vanessa. She's 34, beautiful, confident, and everything I'm not. At least that's what I've been told my entire life. Growing up, the difference between us was made clear early. Vanessa was a cheerleader. I played chess. Vanessa dated the quarterback. I dated books. Vanessa got a full ride to a private university based on her potential. I got student loans and worked 3 jobs to pay for state school. Our parents' mom especially made no secret of who their favorite was. "Vanessa just has that sparkle," Mom would say, as if personality was something you were born with and I'd missed the genetic lottery. Dad tried to be fair, but he was weak. He'd give me apologetic smiles when Mom forgot my birthday or missed my graduation, smiles that said, "I'm sorry, but I can't fight her." So I learned to be small, quiet, undemanding. I learned that love in my family was conditional based on beauty, charm, success, and most importantly, not threatening Vanessa's spotlight. But there was one person who saw me, one person who loved me without conditions. Our grandmother, Margaret. Grandma Margaret was old money, the kind of wealth that whispered rather than shouted. She lived in a sprawling estate with gardens, libraries, and rooms full of antiques that each had a story. She was elegant, sharp-minded, and fiercely independent, and for some reason she preferred my company to Vanessa's. "You have depth, Nina," she'd say during our Sunday afternoon teas. "Your sister has surface. Surface is pretty, but it doesn't last." I'd visit her every week. We'd walk through her gardens, talk about history and art, play chess by the fireplace. She taught me about the family, the real family, before the money, before the pretense. Vanessa visited maybe twice a year, always with an excuse. "Grandma's house smells old. She talks too much about boring things. I'm busy." But I knew the truth. Vanessa didn't visit because Grandma Margaret couldn't be charmed. She saw through people, and Vanessa hated being seen. When I was 20, Grandma Margaret called me to her house for a private conversation. She was 85 then, still sharp but starting to slow down. She led me to her bedroom, a place she rarely let anyone enter, and opened an antique jewelry box on her dresser. Inside was the most beautiful ring I'd ever seen. Platinum band, 6-carat emerald-cut diamond, surrounded by smaller diamonds that caught the light like stars. It looked like something from a museum. "This is the Carter family ring," Grandma said softly. "It's been passed down for 4 generations. My grandmother gave it to me when I turned 21. I stared at it, afraid to even breathe near something so precious. "It's worth about $340,000, she continued. "But its real value isn't the money. It's what it represents: legacy, strength, wisdom." The women in our family who wore this ring were remarkable. They built businesses, raised families through wars, survived impossible things. She picked up the ring, holding it delicately between her fingers. I'm giving it to you, Nina. I stepped back. What? No. Grandma, that should go to Mom or to Vanessa. I'm giving it to you, she repeated firmly. Your mother doesn't appreciate history. And Vanessa. She paused, choosing her words carefully. Vanessa would sell it within a year to buy something trendy and meaningless. But Mom will be furious. Your mother doesn't get a say in who I give my possessions to. Grandma's voice was steel wrapped in silk. This is my ring, my choice, and I'm choosing you. She took my hand and placed the ring in my palm. It was heavier than I expected. But there's a condition, she said. You cannot tell anyone you have it, not your parents, not Vanessa, no one. Why? Grandma sat down on her bed, suddenly looking tired. Because I'm updating my will, and I'm leaving the bulk of my estate, about $8 million, to whoever possesses this ring when I die. My mouth fell open. 8 million. The ring is a test, she continued. I want to see who truly values family legacy versus who just wants money. If Vanessa finds out about this clause, she'll tear this family apart looking for it, so it stays hidden. Understood? I nodded, still stunned. But what if you need it? What if... I have copies made for sentimental purposes. No one will notice. She smiled. Keep it safe, Nina, and when the time comes, you'll know what to do. That night, I hid the ring in a small velvet box at the bottom of my purse, a purse I never let out of my sight. It became my constant companion, a secret weight I carried everywhere. 3 years later, Grandma Margaret passed away peacefully in her sleep. At the funeral, Vanessa cried beautifully, the kind of tears that looked good in photos. But I was the one who had been holding Grandma's hand the week before, reading her favorite poems, making sure she wasn't alone. 2 weeks after the funeral, the family gathered for the will reading at Grandma's lawyer's office. The lawyer, Mr. Peterson, was an elderly man who had known Grandma for 40 years. He looked at us with an expression that suggested he knew this was about to get ugly. Margaret's will is unusual, he began carefully. She's divided her estate in a very specific way. Mom leaned forward, eager. Vanessa sat perfectly poised, already calculating. Dad just looked tired. Her house and its contents will be sold. Proceeds go to charity, as she requested. Mom's face fell slightly, but she nodded. Her investment portfolio, about $3 million, goes to her son, Richard. He looked at my dad. That's you. Dad nodded, surprised. That's very generous. The remaining $8 million, Mr. Peterson continued, is held in trust under one condition. Everyone leaned in. The inheritance goes to whichever family member possesses the Carter family ring at the time of Margaret's death. Silence. Then Vanessa laughed. The ring? That old thing? I haven't seen it in years. That's the point, Mr. Peterson said. Margaret wanted to see who she could trust. The ring was given to someone years ago. Whoever has it now inherits everything. Mom stood up. Who has it? Who did she give it to? I'm not at liberty to say. Margaret's instructions were clear. The person who has it must present it within 1 year or the money goes to charity. Vanessa's face changed. The performance dropped. I saw the real her, calculating, hungry, desperate. So someone in this room has an $8 million ring and just hasn't said anything. Her eyes swept across me. Dad, Mom. Perhaps, Mr. Peterson said calmly, or perhaps it's lost, or perhaps the person holding it is waiting for the right time. Mom turned to me. Nina, do you have it? The question was so sudden, so direct, that I almost flinched. No, I lied. The first lie I'd ever told my mother that mattered. I haven't seen it. She stared at me for a long moment, then turned to Dad. Richard? I don't have it, he said honestly. Vanessa was already on her phone. I'm hiring a private investigator, if that ring is hidden somewhere in Grandma's house before they sell it. The house has been thoroughly searched, Mr. Peterson interrupted. Per Margaret's instructions, I personally oversaw an inventory. The ring is not there. Vanessa's jaw tightened. Then somebody took it. Or, Mr. Peterson said gently, somebody was given it, as was Margaret's right. The meeting ended with tension thick enough to cut. As we walked out, Vanessa grabbed my arm. If you have that ring, Nina, I swear to God. I don't have it, I said, pulling away. But she didn't believe me. I could see it in her eyes. From that day forward, my sister became my enemy. Over the next 6 months, Vanessa made my life hell. She'd show up at my apartment unannounced, demanding to look around. She'd go through my things when I was at work, claiming she'd lost something and needed to check if I'd accidentally taken it. She hired a private investigator who followed me for weeks. She convinced Mom that I was hiding something, turning family dinners into interrogations. "Nina, are you sure you don't have Grandma's ring?" Mom would ask, her voice sweet but her eyes hard. "I'm sure. Because if you do, it's selfish to keep it. That money could help the whole family." Translation: that money could help Vanessa. At Sunday dinners, Vanessa would make little comments. "Nina's purse is so heavy. What do you keep in there?" "You're so secretive lately. Hiding something? Remember when Grandma used to have you over all the time? I wonder what you two talked about." Each comment was a needle, small but sharp. I endured it because I'd made a promise to Grandma keep the ring hidden until the right time. But I didn't know what the right time meant, and with each passing month, the weight of the secret grew heavier. Then, Vanessa got engaged. His name was Marcus Chen, wealthy family, investment banker, the kind of man Mom had always dreamed of for her daughters. "He's perfect," Mom gushed, "and he comes from such good breeding." The engagement party was planned for 6 months later, 200 guests, top venue, no expense spared. And I was expected to attend, smile, and pretend everything was fine. The week before Vanessa's engagement party, she called me. "I need you to come dress shopping with me," she said. It wasn't a request. It was a command. I met her at an exclusive boutique in downtown, the kind of place where they serve champagne and the dresses start at $5,000. Vanessa tried on a dozen options, each more extravagant than the last. She looked beautiful in all of them, she always did. "What do you think?" she asked, twirling in a white silk gown that probably cost more than my car. "It's beautiful," I said honestly. She looked at me in the mirror. "What are you wearing to my party?" "I have a white dress. Simple, classic." Her face changed. "White?" "Yes. Why?" "Nina, you can't wear white. I'm wearing white. It's my engagement party." "Vanessa, it's an engagement party, not a wedding, and it's the only nice dress I have that's appropriate for." "Then buy another one." "I can't afford." "That's not my problem." She turned away, dismissing me. "Wear literally any other color. I don't care. Just not white." I left the boutique feeling that familiar ache, the one that came from being constantly reminded that I wasn't enough, didn't have enough, would never be enough. But I wore the white dress anyway. Not to spite her, not to steal attention, but because I'd spent $300 on it for a work event and I couldn't afford to buy something new just because Vanessa wanted to control everything. I knew she'd be upset. I just didn't know how far she'd go. The party was held at the Grand Rose Hotel, the same place where politicians and celebrities held their events. Everything sparkled: crystal chandeliers, ice sculptures, a champagne tower that reached the ceiling. Vanessa looked stunning in her white silk gown, diamonds at her throat, her hair swept up elegantly. Marcus stood beside her, smiling his perfect smile, shaking hands with important people. I arrived alone. No date, no +1. The moment Vanessa saw my white dress, her smile froze. "You wore white," she said, her voice tight. "It's the only dress I have. You wore white to my engagement party. On purpose." "Vanessa, it's not about you." "Everything is about me tonight." Her voice rose. People turned to look. "This is my night, my moment. And you show up dressed like a bride?" I felt my face burning. "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to." "You never mean to do anything, do you, Nina? You're just the poor, struggling little sister who can't afford her own clothes, who needs everyone's pity." The words stung because they were designed to. Marcus touched her arm gently. "Van, people are watching." She plastered on a smile immediately. "You're right. I'm sorry, let's just enjoy the party." But I saw the look in her eyes. I knew something was coming. 2 hours into the party, I was standing near the champagne tower, talking to one of Dad's colleagues. Vanessa approached with a glass of red wine in her hand. She was laughing at something Marcus said, looking carefree and happy. "Nina," she called out, "come take a picture with us." I walked over, careful on the marble floor in my heels. "Stand right here," she directed, positioning me between her and Marcus. Someone raised a camera. And then, Vanessa's hand slipped. The entire glass of red wine splashed across my chest, soaking my white dress, dripping down to my shoes. I gasped. The cold liquid shocked my skin. The red spread across the white fabric like blood. "Oh my God!" Vanessa shrieked. "I'm so sorry. It was an accident." Everyone turned to stare. Cameras flashed, people documenting the moment. Vanessa's friends gasped and whispered, some of them barely hiding their smiles. Marcus looked genuinely apologetic. "Nina, I'm so sorry. Let me get you some towels." No, I've got it," Vanessa said quickly, grabbing my arm. "Come on, Nina, let's get you cleaned up." She pulled me toward the bathroom, her grip tight on my wrist. But I stopped, pulled away. "I don't need your help." She blinked, surprised. I never refused her. "Nina, don't be dramatic. It was an accident." "No, it wasn't." The words hung in the air. Around us, conversation stopped. People watched with the eager anticipation of those who sense drama coming. "Excuse me?" Vanessa's voice was ice. I looked at her, really looked at her, at the sister who had tormented me for months, who had invaded my privacy, turned my mother against me, made me feel small and worthless. And I was done. "You spilled that wine on purpose," I said clearly, "just like you've done everything else on purpose. The comments, the searches, the cruelty, all of it." Her face flushed. "You're being ridiculous." "Am I?" I reached into my purse for tissues to wipe my face. And that's when it happened. The velvet box fell out. It rolled across the marble floor in perfect cinematic fashion, everyone's eyes following it until it stopped right at Vanessa's feet. She stared at it, bent down slowly, picked it up. Her hands were shaking as she opened it. Inside, the ring sparkled under the chandelier lights, platinum, diamonds, emerald cut, unmistakable. Grandma's ring. Vanessa's face went completely white. "You had it. This whole time, you had it." The room erupted in whispers. Mom pushed through the crowd. "Is that the Carter family ring?" Vanessa breathed. "She's had it for years. While we searched. Her voice broke. "You've been sitting on $8 million?" I didn't deny it, didn't apologize. I just stood there, wine-stained and tired, and said, "Grandma gave it to me. It was hers to give." "She gave it to you?" Mom's voice was shrill. "Why would she?" "Because I was the only one who visited her, the only one who cared about her when she was alive, not just about her money when she died." The silence was deafening. Vanessa's hands trembled around the box. "Do you have any idea what this means? What you've stolen from this family?" "I didn't steal anything. It was given to me." "You let us suffer. You watched Dad stress about retirement. You watched me." "I watched you hire a private investigator to follow me," I interrupted. "I watched you go through my apartment. I watched you turn Mom against me, all because you wanted money you didn't earn." Marcus stepped forward carefully. "Nina, maybe we should all calm down." "No," I said. "I'm done being calm. I'm done being quiet." I turned to face the crowd, 200 pairs of eyes watching me like I was a reality show. For 6 months, my sister has accused me of lying, of stealing, of being selfish. But you know what's actually selfish? Treating your grandmother like a bank account. Visiting her twice a year and expecting to inherit millions. Vanessa's face was red. "You manipulated her. You spent time with her just to get—" "I spent time with her because I loved her." My voice echoed through the ballroom. "I visited her every week for 10 years. I held her hand when she was scared. I read to her when she couldn't sleep. I was there, Vanessa. Where were you?" She had no answer. Mom tried. "Nina, that's not fair." "What's not fair, Mom? That Grandma loved me more? That she trusted me more? Or that for once in my life I'm not the disappointment?" Mom flinched. "Grandma gave me this ring when I was 20. I continued, my voice steady now. She made me promise not to tell anyone. She said it was a test to see who really valued family versus who valued money. I looked at Vanessa. "You failed that test the moment you started tearing this family apart looking for it." Vanessa's tears were real now, not the pretty performative ones. These were ugly tears of rage and humiliation. "So what now?" she spat. "You just keep the money? I don't know, I said honestly. I have a year to decide. That's what Grandma's will says, and I'll decide based on who deserves it, not who wants it. I reached out and took the box from her hands. She didn't resist. Thank you for the party, I said quietly. It's been very revealing. And then I walked out. Wine-stained dress, ring in my purse, head held high. Behind me, I heard the explosion of voices, people arguing, questioning, gossiping. But I didn't look back. For the first time in my life, I didn't care what they thought. I didn't go home that night. I drove to a hotel, checked in under a fake name, and sat in the shower until the hot water ran cold, watching the red wine swirl down the drain. My phone buzzed constantly. Texts, calls, voicemails. Vanessa, you're destroying this family. Mom, we need to talk about this rationally. Dad, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for everything. Marcus, surprisingly, for what it's worth, I think you were right. I ignored them all except Dad's. I called him back at midnight. Nina, his voice was hoarse, I don't know what to say. You don't have to say anything. Your mother is beside herself. Vanessa locked herself in her old bedroom and won't come out. I'm sorry the party was ruined. It needed to be ruined, he sighed deeply. I've let your sister get away with too much. I've let your mother favor her too much, and I've let you carry too much alone. Tears slipped down my face. Dad, Grandma was right to give you that ring. You were always the strong one. We just couldn't see it because you never demanded to be seen. We talked for an hour, really talked, for the first time in years. When I hung up, I felt lighter. But there was still something I hadn't told anyone, something I'd discovered 2 months earlier, something that had been burning a hole in my conscience. I pulled a folder from my bag. Inside was a DNA test result. 2 months ago, during one of Vanessa's invasive searches of my apartment, I'd found something in her things that she'd left behind, a prescription bottle with a name I didn't recognize. Curious, I'd Googled the name. It led me down a rabbit hole of old family photos, obituaries, and eventually, a truth I wasn't ready for. I'd taken the test to be sure, paid extra for rush results. And what I found changed everything. Vanessa wasn't my full sister. She was my half-sister. Our mother had an affair 34 years ago. Vanessa was the result. That's why Mom favored her so intensely. Guilt. That's why Dad was always quietly uncomfortable around her, he knew. And Grandma Margaret knew too. That's why she'd been so careful about who got the ring. The next morning, I went to my parents' house. Mom answered the door, her eyes swollen from crying. Nina, please. I need to show you both something. We sat in the living room. Vanessa came downstairs, still in her pajamas, her face puffy and red. I placed the DNA test on the coffee table. What is this? Mom asked. Open it. She did. Read it. Her face went completely white. Dad leaned over, read it, then closed his eyes. Oh God. Vanessa grabbed it. What does this say? What is... She stopped, stared. This is fake. It's not fake, I said quietly. I had it done twice to be sure. Mom started crying real broken sobs. How did you... I found clues. I followed them, and now I know why you've always loved Vanessa more. It wasn't favoritism, it was guilt. Vanessa looked between Mom and Dad, comprehension dawning. Wait, are you saying... You're my half-sister, I said. Dad raised you as his own, but biologically you're not his daughter. The room felt like it was collapsing. Dad's voice was barely a whisper. Nina, I'm sorry. We should have told you. When? I asked. When I was 10, 15, 20? When was the right time to tell me that my entire family was built on a lie? Mom reached for me. Please understand. I do understand. I looked at Vanessa, who was shaking. That's why Grandma gave me the ring. She knew, and she knew that the family legacy, the real one, ran through me. Not you. Vanessa's face crumpled. So what, you're going to keep all the money? Punish me for something I didn't even know about? I thought about it. Really thought about it. No, I finally said. I'm going to split it. Everyone looked up, shocked. $3 million to Dad because he raised a child that wasn't his and never made her feel less than. $3 million to charity because that's what Grandma would have wanted. And $2 million to you, Vanessa. Vanessa stared. Why would you give me anything? Because despite everything, you're still my sister, and I'm not going to let Mom's mistakes define our relationship forever. I stood up. But there are conditions. You get therapy. You apologize, really apologize for the hell you put me through, and you never, ever treat me like I'm less than you again. Vanessa nodded, tears streaming. I will, I promise. I looked at Mom. And you need to tell the truth. To everyone. No more secrets, no more guilt, just honesty. She nodded, unable to speak. I walked to the door, then stopped. I'm keeping the ring, though. That's mine. Grandma wanted me to have it, and I'm going to wear it and think of her every day. It's been 6 months since that engagement party. Vanessa's wedding went ahead smaller, quieter, more intimate. I was her maid of honor. We're rebuilding our relationship slowly, honestly. She's in therapy. So am I. Mom finally told the extended family the truth. It was ugly for a while, but truth usually is. Dad and I have dinner every week now. He tells me he's proud of me. I believe him. The money is being distributed according to my wishes. Grandma's estate lawyer said she would have approved. I wear the ring every day not to show off, but to remember. To remember that strength isn't about being loud or demanding attention. It's about enduring, protecting, loving, even when no one notices. Grandma saw me when I was invisible to everyone else. And she made sure that when the time came, everyone else would see me too. Sometimes it takes a spilled glass of wine, a fallen ring, and a room full of witnesses to finally stop being quiet and start being heard. If you discovered a family secret that explained years of unfair treatment, would you use it or keep it hidden? Drop your answer in the comments and hit that subscribe button because the truth doesn't destroy families. Lies do.